Ilia Malin's performance at the Olympic Gala is unprecedented in figure skating. He went back to the Olympic ice 8 days after finishing in 8th place when it seemed like gold would be easy, wearing torn trousers and a grey sweater instead of a sparkling outfit, and the whole figure skating community was startled by what he did next. There was no performance here. This was a remark on mental health, devastating, honest, and raw. Since it matters, let's discuss what he was wearing. There were no standard figure skating costumes, sequins or glitter, just a grey oversized sweatshirt with the word fear printed upside down on it and tattered pants that looked like a ball mane. Street attire, as if he has just left school. This is the world's most technically proficient skater, the quad god, and a 2-time world champion. And he also seemed as if he was going to get coffee rather than perform when he arrived at the Olympic Gala. He skated to the song Fear by NF, an American rapper who talks about the weight of expectations, losing control, and mental health issues. The dance was not like anything seen in the Olympics, ice has seen. He began by listening to the barrage of social media alerts and reading remark after comment. He then started to play out the effects of those remarks. He eliminated unseen cameras. He covered his head with his hood. He tried to hide from everything by crouching on the ice. He once dropped to his knees and pulled himself into his hoodie as if he were attempting to blend in. Winning was not the focus of this dance. This choreography explored survival and what it's really like to be trapped in a situation when everyone is watching. And then he performed his signature backflip, landing on one blade, but it seemed different this time, more akin to a release than a showstopper. Ilia grew clearly upset when the audience gave a standing ovation. The purpose of this was not to demonstrate his continued ability. After 8 days of feeling as like he had lost everything, this was about getting back something. The moment that brought silence to the whole stadium was the conclusion. He pretended to put on headphones when the music abruptly stopped. There was silence at the Milano ice rink. In the history of Olympic figure skating, it was the most impactful moment. After performing on pressure, mental health, and the constant noise, a skater stands by himself on the rink in complete quiet. And he decided to keep quiet. He decided to switch everything off. Every athlete has to cope with it, but no one appears to discuss it. So he decided to show the world what peace looks like. Here's why this performance is so important, however. Considering that a few days before, no athlete should ever have to go through what Malinin did. The overwhelming favorite to win Olympic gold was Ilia Malinin, 8 days prior to this spectacular event on February 13th. He was referred to as the quad god, the first skater in history to land a quad axel during competition, and a 2-time world and 4-time US champion. Following the brief program, he took the lead. Everything was proceeding as planned. The free skating then took place. He doubled a quad loop, fell twice, and popped his quad axel in the air. He finished 9th after totally unraveling. Among the most horrific events in Olympic history. And the internet went crazy over the seemingly certain fact that was really very uncertain. Ilia addressed reporters after the gala performance. His words were awful. He explained to them that his performance today was only a continuation of the feelings he had been experiencing throughout the year before these Olympics. A whole year of mounting stress. He went on to say that it had been really difficult, with a lot of pressure from others, noise, the media, and thoughts. No athlete should have to go through that. Consider that. The world's most technically proficient figure skater claims that nobody should have to deal with the mental strain of the Olympics. For months, he had been practicing the terror routine. Contrary to popular belief, it was not a work that came to him spontaneously after his mental collapse. And he was aware of what was about to happen, and that he would not be the only person experiencing this during the Olympics. He thus made the decision to discuss it for the benefit of all athletes who are under duress. According to George Mason University, where Ilia attends, the performance depicted a fearless young man who ultimately buckled under the weight of it all, dropping to his knees and hiding under his hoodie. He was subjected to extreme pressure, never-ending criticism, and high expectations. We watched that. In front of millions, an athlete gives down under strain on the Olympic ice. Time magazine described it as a sobering depiction of the loss of control he had been experiencing as the anticipation and excitement around his Olympic debut grew. Loss of command. The scrolling phone was a representation of it. And the flinching from the flashbulb demonstrated that. That was the meaning of hiding under his hood. He demonstrated to us what it looks like when he loses control. There was more to this performance than merely Ilia. It was about all athletes who had experienced similar emotions. Millions of individuals may remark, criticize, and pass judgment on social media without ever realizing the consequences of their actions. Because that's how it feels. Ilia is brushing aside their remarks. Until you choose stillness and put on headphones, you will never be able to escape this never-ending stream. Ilia Malinin is not finished, however. There was a second message in this performance. Following the event, Ilia delivered a statement. World Championships from March 23rd to 29th in Prague. Having a redemption skate at the World Championships is his next objective, he said. Redemption skate, redemption performance, and redemption return. Salvation. He has won the World Championship twice and is vying for the third time in a row. The last American to win 3 consecutive world titles in 2018, 2019, and 2021 was Nathan Chen. That's what Ilia desires. And after he battled those demons on Olympic ice, as we saw at the gala, he is returning stronger. Ilia didn't find closure at the gala. It was a reset. He acted out his trauma. He pictured the sensation of the pressure. He displayed to the public the unseen conflicts he had been engaged in. He chose to turn off the noise and conclude it in quiet, preferring calm over mayhem. Athletes don't give up like that. That is the reclaiming of power by an athlete. I just wanted to share an extension of my thoughts and something I've been feeling for the entire Olympic season, he added. He gave it away. Now that everyone is aware of what he went through, he is moving on. There has never been anything like what Ilia Malinin performed at that gala in figure skating, thus it counts. It is not expected of athletes to display weakness. They are meant to be flawless, indestructible, and pressure-resistant. Ilia revealed the reality. Even the quad god is broken by the strain. However, breaking doesn't mean you're done. It indicates that you are a person. Furthermore, sometimes having humanity outweighs having perfection. Ilia Malinin wins team gold in the Olympics in Milan Cortina. Not a single medal, but something more significant. He initiated a discussion around mental health in athletics, about what happens when millions of people want perfection, and about the price of being the favorite. And he did it in total quiet, backflipping, and wearing a grey sweatshirt. Do you believe that athletes need to discuss mental health more candidly? Was Ilia's spectacular performance the Olympics' most impactful moment? Please subscribe and share your thoughts in the comments section below. We are tracking Ilia's quest for atonement at the World Championships in Prague in March. We just seen the quad god's terror. He is now returning to demonstrate his might, and figure skating will never be the same.